2020 April 18. Daily Bread Passage. 1 Chronicles chapter 14 verse 1–17. Keyverse. Verse 2. Title: For the Lord's Shake, Not David's. Bible passage. Now Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers to David, along with cedar logs, stonemasons and carpenters to build a palace for him. And David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel and that his kingdom had been highly exalted for the sake of his people Israel. In Jerusalem David took more wives and became the father of more sons and daughters. These are the names of the children born to him there: Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon. Ibhar, Elishua, Elpalet. Noga, Nepheg, Japhia. Elishama, Beliada and Eliphalet. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over all Israel, they went up in full force to search for him, but David heard about it and went out to meet them. Now the Philistines had come and raided the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of God, "Shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hands?" The Lord answered him, "Go, I will deliver them into your hands." So David and his men went up to Baal-perazim, and there he defeated them. He said, "As waters break out, God has broken out against my enemies by my hand." So that place was called Baal-perazim. The Philistines had abandoned their gods there, and David gave orders to burn them in the fire. Once more the Philistines raided the valley. So David inquired of God again, and God answered him, "Do not go directly after them, but circle around them and attack them in front of the poplar trees. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the poplar trees, move out to battle, because that will mean God has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistine army." So David did as God commanded him, and they struck down the Philistine army, all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. So David's fame spread throughout every land, and the Lord made all the nations fear him. Daily Bread Message. 1. For the sake of his people, David knew God had established him as king, not for his own sake, but for God's purpose. David had good relations with the king of Tyre for trade purposes. He also had many children. 2. David inquires of God. David was an able warrior, but he didn't depend on his ability or past success. He inquired of God regarding which battles to fight and how to fight them. When the Philistine army searched for David, he asked God, "Will you deliver them into my hands?" When God answered, "Yes," David fought and won. God broke out like water against David's enemies. David burned the Philistine idols. For the next battle, God directed David differently. He followed God's word and won the victory again. David's fame spread all over, and God made all the nations fear him. Prayer. Lord, help me to realize that your blessings aren't merely for me but to serve your greater purpose. Help me to bring all my struggles to you in prayer. One word. For the Lord's shake, not mine.